Thank you very much. Good morning, brothers and sisters. I'm humbled to stand before you this morning. I want to first recognize the presenters who presented yesterday. We had a great day yesterday. I was thoroughly enriched. I would like to inform you that I'm going to be leaving some of the issues that I was requested to present because they were actually touched on yesterday. Because I was there when the convention began, I noticed that there are some areas that were left out. I'm going to try and touch on those ones. Allow me at this moment to recognize the presence of my pastor who started praying and helping me to start a business. Pastor Chinoshao. Can you raise your hand? He was my pastor when I was living in Tafara. And I remember one day inviting him to pray for my potatoes that had been attacked by a potato blight because I didn't put enough chemicals. And he prayed and said, Lord, you said I will curse the devourer for your sakes. Thank you, Pastor. You are such an inspiration. And my wife, Blessings, who used to encourage me a lot when I was thinking about starting a school and we were staying in Tafara. You know, Tafara has 4 houses. The toilet is outside. So I would go outside to take a bath. And she would realize that it's now more than 30 minutes. And she would come at the toilet door and knock. Pardon, what are you still doing? And I was there inside with a towel, naked, and thinking, how can I start a school? If I could buy a test tube, if I would be so absorbed that I forgot that I was actually bathing. I want to talk about Adventist business is a centers of influence. That's what I want to center on. But I noticed that from the presentations yesterday, the presentations were all directed at people that already have businesses or are running businesses. But I know that we have some that are actually intent upon starting to run a business. I was so overjoyed to see the Marondera chapter of ASI. Can you raise your hands? This is amazing. Let me tell you about these guys. We went to Marondera just about 3 Sabbaths ago to inaugurate their branch. We didn't have a branch, ASI branch in Marondera. And then we invited them to come for this convention. And boom, they're already here. What a joy for a moment to share with you the presentations here. I want to start by talking about the genesis of businesses, particularly Adventist businesses, because Adventist businesses are actually different, in my opinion, from any other businesses. According to God, there's a universal principle in the development of something that has life in it. And the universal principle is found in Mark 4:28. It develops a son. We must have a seed. And then when the seed is cast, it starts growing, first the blade, then the ear. After that, the full corn in the ear. This is a universal principle in growth. Businesses that do not start or that do not develop in this manner will crumble. So, how do you start businesses? I want to share with you something that I did. Not necessarily that it is universal, but it was like following some of these stages. I believe that those of us who want to start businesses, the first thing that you need to do is you need to come up with the right idea for your business. And that idea must be determined by your passion. What is it that you are good at? What is your gift? We are in the area of education. It's unfortunate that the education systems of the world is actually false. Because the world is saying to people, come to our school, whether you're a little girl or a little boy, we'll teach you skills, and then you will use these skills in life. But that's not the correct way. There is no human being that is born on the face of the earth without being endowed with special gifts by God. The purpose of schools must be to recognize these special gifts that these individuals were endowed with God and then develop them. But unfortunately, the world is going aside. I've not seen schools that are saying, look, we want to help identify gifts. And what, as a teacher, I've also noticed that there's so many people who do not know their gifts. If I would say here, I want everyone who knows their gift, what they were given by God, what is in you that you were given by God, raise your hand. If you know, and you are sure, me, I know my gift, I'm a teacher. God gave me the gift of teaching. And I have no doubt about it. Those who know their gifts, please raise your hand. You can see, not too many. Thank you very much. Not too many. Some people don't know their gift. And I know why. The devil doesn't want people to know their gifts. Because then they would use them in the business of God. So he obliterates. So identify your idea. What do you want to do? I want to, I'm gifted in mending shoes. Okay? And then when you have your idea, when you have determined and you have come up with an idea, and I know that the idea in business, your idea is more important than the money. I've seen people coming to me and say, Mugari, can I have money to start a business? And I tell people that I don't give people money to start a business. So your business can't start first the blade, then the ear, then the full corn in the ear. Your idea is not a good idea. When you determine, when you come up with your idea, the next thing is to determine God's stake in your idea. What is God's stake in your idea? Because God is also a businessman. I want to emphasize on this one. God's stake in your idea, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, you must determine exactly how much God is going to get in your business. Not in terms of tithes and offering. That belongs to God. In our business, as Bright, we have determined God's stake. It's definite. Those of us who know our organization, God has a definite stake. Because he is also a businessman. When you determine God's stake in your business, then start meditating upon your idea. This is what I was doing in Tafara. And, I would think, I think that as a teacher, I want to share with you this. I want to submit to you that one of the major challenges of human beings, particularly us Africans, is that we do not engage in thinking. We do not meditate. We do not think deep enough. And let me tell you that it is only when the mind is put under stress that it will be able to generate new knowledge. So, since the idea of thinking, I used to, like I told you, I used to be so absorbed in thinking about starting a school. And it was tough then to start a school. I remember when I told my teacher at Mugari High School that I wanted to start my own school. Mrs. Mugari laughed at me. She laughed heartily. And when I left that school to go to Namibia to find a job, failed to find a job, came back to Zimbabwe, and started freelancing, teaching. I would get from Tafara on a bus at 4th Street. I would walk to Belvedere area, teach one Indian student, cross to Milton Park, teach another student, and the money that I would get, I would buy a test tube, a burette, and put it in my trunk at home in Tafara, and then eventually started a school. I met Mrs. Mugari a few years later, about 4 or so years later, in Bonmarche, Chisipiti, and she said, "So, Mr. Mugari, we're actually serious about starting a school." Seize on your idea and let your idea seize you. After that, start praying for your idea. Pray so hard as if the success of your business or your idea depends on prayer alone. Amen. Brothers and sisters, we should learn to pray. And God gives. Anyone who wants to ask God to give him so that he can give, God will not deny you. Ask him to give. When you have prayed, start working on your idea. And work so hard as if the success of your idea depends on hard work alone and God does not exist. You didn't hear me. You start working so hard that the idea or your business, the success of it, depends on hard work alone. I told you how I used to, and then I eventually bought a bicycle. I would cycle from Tafara to town, Mount Pleasant, teach a student, go back to Tafara. Eventually bought a motorbike, and then a car, and now we have 7 institutions. First the blood, then the ear. After that, the full corn in the ear. And then you must become innovative. I tell you, there's no business that can thrive without innovation. You know what I did? I then said, look, I'm a science teacher. I noticed that many people, in Harare at that time, there were only 3 colleges that were running sciences. Species College, and ILSA. They said, there's a gap here. And many teachers were actually going to South Africa during that time, 2007, 2006, thereabouts. And I said, there's a gap here. So I started, I utilized that gap. And I became innovative. I designed little lab equipment that I would put in my session. And when I came to your house and I was teaching your child, I would literally make your table, your kitchen table, a lab. I would do biology practicals, chemistry practicals on that table with practical kits that I designed. And I became a popular teacher. So be innovative. If you are doing your work as anyone else is doing it, then it will not grow. If you are doing hairdo, let someone fly or drive from Bulawayo to come and have a hairdo at your place. Then you are unique. I want to submit to you that the Israelites, I'm talking about gifts, the Israelites, when they were moving from Egypt to Canaan, and you know that Israelites had never gotten an opportunity to go into the Egyptian universities because they were slaves, isn't it? But listen to what God says. Listen to, watch what they do when they were building a temple in the desert. They were smart craftsmen there who were building that temple. Where did they learn it from? It was the gift that they were given by. What is your gift? So if you do not know your gift, you have a bit of a problem. God is a businessman. And his business is the salvation of souls. Okay? Now, so if God is a businessman, our businesses must actually be an extension of God's business. Isn't that so? To what extent is your business an extension? And young people from Marondera and others who are bent on starting businesses, let your business be an extension of God's business. How much is your, what part of your income is going directly to God's business? Because his business is the salvation of souls, isn't it? And you know, one of our challenges as Adventists is we do not have influence in our communities, in the communities in which our businesses are. They don't know us. They don't know us. They just know that there's someone who's doing something there. Orphans and widows benefiting from our business. I want you to ask yourself a question, those of us who are in business. Does God have a stake? Is he a stake and stockholder in your business? Is it well defined? Don't just say, okay, here and there, I donate. No, so in the Adventist, we must not move away from what other people do, where they want to build their personalities or their profile by as inviting people when you have done, I call it hit and run. The church will gather there, and then they just donate a few things to the orphans, and then they bring the media, and then they are publicized. It's a hit and run. No. Adventists, we must have sustained programs to do God's work. And the world must know that as long as you are close to Adventists, you are okay. We don't have, because we don't ask. Because we ask amiss, so that we use things for our own personal aggrandizement. I now want to suggest to you, ladies and gentlemen, certain business lines that we could look at. Those of us who want to start businesses. There are unique lines that our Adventists should actually, do you know, the world economic system as it is at the moment is not what God designed. Let us be aware of this, because we have been backed, our forefathers have been living in this particular economy where we have people who go to school, go to universities, and then they are finding employment from masters in terms of multinationals and so forth. This is not God's design. Man has long diverted from the system of economy that God designed. And I want to suggest to you that when we choose businesses, we should also be aware of the trends. I like Brother Tawanda. He made presentations that I enjoyed yesterday and said, look, when we're looking at the economy and the trends, let us also take into account what the Bible and the spirit of prophecy said. Because we have an advantage of knowing the future as Adventists. If you want to start your chicken business, know exactly that it's going to come to an end, because there's going to be a time when people, even those who are non-vegetarians at the moment, will become vegetarians because of diseases. So you must know that that business is a specific lifespan. What we do must be advised by the word of God. These are the areas that I'm recommending to you young people. Production of rare crops. I want to share with you something that is actually interesting. Do you know that there are certain crops that have gone extinct? Let me tell you what I'm doing at our farm. We are growing a special crop known as buckwheat. Does anyone know this plant? This crop, buckwheat. How many know what is called buckwheat? Buckwheat. Okay. How many know it? Just a few. Okay. How many have buckwheat? Raise your hand. If you have buckwheat. One person. Who are you? Who is that one? Oh, Pastor Mbiri, where did you get your buckwheat? Oh, okay, I see. Now, let me tell you about this crop. You know, this crop, here's a picture of the fruiting stage. I have over 4 tons of buckwheat. I'm the only person who has buckwheat in Zimbabwe. I got a small handful and I started multiplying. It is a special type of wheat which has 0 gluten. If you go to Indian shops which sell flour, go and find and say, I want buckwheat flour. They're importing it from South Africa. It's $30 a kg. This crop went extinct. I mean, you saw people who raised their hands. It went extinct. Let me tell you more about this crop. You don't need fertilizer for this crop. You also don't need herbicides, because it actually kills weeds. Right now, I'm actually doing 10 hectares. Last year, I just did 2. Now I'm doing 10 hectares of buckwheat. I'm actually distributing it. Here is a crop, no weeding needed, no fertilizer needed. It just thrives. How many different other crops are there that are gonna? Do you know what is happening in the world today? The seed is becoming a preserve of seed houses, and Adventists must have seed banks. Do you know we have at our plot we have more than 10 types of beans? Those of you who have come to our plot, we have shown you some of the crops that we are actually preserving. These are lines of business. Imagine, the world should not be hungry as it is, because there are some crops. This buckwheat, it actually grows like a weed. Cassava. We are also doing cassava, tapioca, cassava flour. This plant, what you do, you just cut the stem, you plant it, and you leave it there. And then you are going to be harvesting. It's a huge source of starch. We have 2 tons of cassava flour at our place. And we have no problem with starch, and we have no problem with labor. This is what is happening. And at the moment, the world is hungry. Now, I want you to ask yourself a question. How many more crops that went extinct that we do not have at the moment, that should be sustaining humanity? If you read the Great Controversy, you will learn that the Waldenses were surviving on pumpkins. They would just plant one seed of pumpkin in the Alps mountains, and it would grow and feed a family. And suddenly the Adventists, we know about the impending persecution. Why are we not preparing for it? Why are we living in the cities? Now, some people, and this is maize, black one and the yellow one. These are rare, I'm calling them rare crops. So this is a line of business that you could do. I'm giving away, not giving away really, I'm giving away some, like Pastor Mira, I gave him 20 kg of buckwheat. But I'm also distributing to certain youths buckwheat so that they can grow it. I went to Mfakose North SDA Church. and I gave the youth 1 hectare of land and buckwheat. So this is an area. Do you know, according to God, men were supposed to survive on the things that God had created. Okay, Rujeko, can you bring up that parcel which everyone else is, each one of us is going to enjoy? I want to show you the parcel that I've brought for you. So God wanted us to survive on the things that He created. That's why He said, "Be fruitful and multiply," isn't it? And subdue the earth. Yeah, we live by subduing the earth, isn't it? And having dominion over the fish of the sea, isn't it? And over the birds of the air, isn't it? And over every living creature. So we survive by using what God has already created. So this is a line that you could follow. Apiculture. I'm really disheartened at the fact that, Zimbabwe could be one of the largest exporters of honey in the world, judging from our the extent of land and forage. I started the beekeeping as a hobby. Okay, so just put it there. This is a bucket of combed honey, which everyone is going to enjoy here today. And we harvested it from Claremont Estates. We have over 600 beehives at Claremont Estate. So that one is what you're going to enjoy today is apple honey. Apple honey is named on the basis of the flowers from which the bees forage. If they forage in gum tree, we call it eucalyptus honey. So you have a chance to taste apple honey today from Claremont Estates. So they want pollination, we want honey. So we have an arrangement with them. In the Vumba National Park, we have beehives. We now have over 1,000 beehives. And that's too little. We really want to at about 10,000 beehives, we are now going to look at exporting. Now, let me tell you something about beekeeping. Right now, as I speak, it's Sabbath. We are not working. My bees are actually working. Yes. And multiply the following. A mature beehive has 50,000 worker bees times 1,000 beehives. All those are my workers, and I don't pay. They pay me every 3 months. Every 3 months, they pay me. And they pay me with the honey. You can see it's me and my little daughter there. Me and students in our institution. We teach students to do this thing. So what do you need? You need a $15, or $20 beehive. And just hang it there. Do you know, if Zimbabwe had done this long back, bees, let me tell you something about bees, so that you see the loss that we have sustained as a nation. Bees cannot split or multiply if they are living in holes or other places. Yeah, they do not. Because they'll be moving from every season. So they do not split. So if bees are put in specific beehives, their chances of multiplication is high. Imagine if our forefathers had started beekeeping, we would have millions of bee colonies and would sustain the world. Let me run quickly. 5 minutes. Fruit tree growing. Young people, this is an area that you should venture into. Do you know, we are selling fruit trees. There's one guy who came to buy 1,000 Hass avocado fruit trees. Just wait. You know, while we are living in the cities, there are many Zimbabweans who are in the farms. Give Zimbabwe 5 years. You are going to see we are going to be a huge exporter of Hass avocados, because Dubai is actually getting from Tanzania at the moment. Zimbabwe is only exporting any. And we need to do this. So these are areas that I'm recommending to you young people. Agriculture is the way to go. Unfortunately, many Seventh-day Adventists do not want to take part in the land reform. Nyika inogowana wakagara, so wakagara wamwachigowana nyika. Nyika yako wamwachigowana wakagara. Hanzi ndezve ZANU-PF. We lost out, but unfortunately, nyika ichiri kugowa. And then I said, no, I can't sit. I have farms. I'm doing Boran in Chegutu. I'm doing apiculture everywhere. You can't. You need to have your own portion of the earth. Didn't my wife say, in the last days, let every Adventist family has its own piece of land where they cultivate their own crops, because in the last days, the problem of buying and selling will be a serious one. And you are in the city, renting a little place there. So, this is our Hass avocados. You can see they continuously you have them. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to submit to you, these are areas, I'm just giving you some of the areas that you can look at, which will actually make business. I wanted to show you the value addition that we are doing. What is that one? Yes, value addition that we are doing with the honey. Making sesame bars and other things. So important. And we can do this, those of us who want to actually vend. This is real business. Okay? I want to finish by saying, feeding the hungry. These are things that we do. Many of us do not have the right relationship with money. One thing I thank God about is I have a good relationship with money. How is your relationship with money? Do you ask to give? Me and my wife, we live a very humble life. ask blessing. Those of us who have come to our place, we could afford to do a thing or two. But we know that what we have belongs to God. So Adventists, we need to have the right relationship with money. And God is going to bless us abundantly. We must not make money for the sole reason of making money. Yeah, because money is actually a divine resource for God. And eventually, our businesses are going to come to an end. Do you know that? Yeah, there's time when our business will be wound up, but God's business is going to stay forever. Brothers and sisters, may God help us to refocus our mind and to work together, and so that God can bless us. First the blade, then the ear. After that, the full corn in the ear. Thank you.